Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, July 17, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's like you recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that there is still nothing highlighted for a possible tropical cyclone development within the next 7 days. However, if we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by that ridge of high pressure that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And along with these easterly trade winds, you have numerous tropical waves, one right here to the northeast of South America, and another one right here to the east of Jamaica. And we know these easterly trade winds bring off the dust off of Africa as well, and the portion of the northeastern Caribbean are about to get in on a very vigorous plume of dust. We'll be talking more about that later on. So let's take a look right now at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down to confirm all of what we were just mentioning. Here we have the clouds across portions of Hispaniola, especially to the water to the south of there, associated with that tropical wave. Clouds associated with the other tropical wave right here to the northeast of South America, but it's not that visible, especially considering the fact that there's a lot of dust keeping the atmosphere stable, so these thunderstorms aren't able to thrive. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, July 17. It was stated that parts of northern and western Jamaica would have received some afternoon rainfall on Wednesday. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. So St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? As early as 12:55 p.m., a post was made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the visible satellite image was posted highlighting the image from 12:55 p.m. and we saw some clouds starting to build where across sections of some northern and western parishes, but at that time it was more so affecting sections of Hanover and St. James with some amount of overcast skies, if not some isolated thunderstorms. And we saw those thunderstorms as represented by the sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So that indeed confirms the rainfall there. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, you can definitely see that this cloud cover was definitely affecting sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, more so with some overcast skies, but sections of western St. Anne and Trelawney did indeed get in on some of the isolated shore activity, not to mention maybe section of northern Clarendon right there. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images to confirm this, we saw the thunderstorm burst right there across northwestern Jamaica, definitely Trelawney, eastern St. James, and we can also see that majority of the cloud cover has died down by the time of this recording. Either way, southern and eastern Jamaica, it was mostly sunny for us today. Most persons are wondering if we would have gotten what we got yesterday, but no, that was not in the forecast at all. If we take a look at the halfway tree cam for right now, 7:17 p.m. considering the time is 7:18 p.m. so I guess it's delayed a bit. we can see that it is definitely fair persons going about their business. We backtrack 4 hours ago. If this will actually load for me, will it? Doesn't see. Okay, here we go. At 3:28, we saw definitely some sunshine across the corporate area halfway through. Not much in the way of afternoon rainfall at all today. Alright, so if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology's accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours, this map does indeed confirm where the rainfall occurred. Definitely some isolated showers for eastern Jamaica. As a matter of fact, we got some amount of rainfall last night across sections of some southern coastal areas. So even sections of Clarendon, section of St. Catherine picked up on some rainfall. We didn't get a chance to post it on our pages. We also saw some rainfall across sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, just as we saw in the visible satellite images just now. Unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar has glitched out again. We don't see much right here. Yes, we saw the rainfall across western Jamaica at that time, but that's just about it. Maybe if we load up the Guantanamo Bay radar and the Cayman radar, we can see exactly what's happening. Not much taking place. The Guantanamo Bay military radar right now not showing much in the way of rainfall across Jamaica, some rainfall across southeastern Cuba. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, we don't see much in the way of rainfall across western Jamaica at all. Some isolated showers passing to the south of the Cayman Islands. That's all. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperatures should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Thursday. When you calculate that, that's about 1 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellow colors that we can see by the key on the right. That represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures for the month of July. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of July are about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When you take a look at the thermometer, 91 degrees Fahrenheit, when you calculate it, it's about 32.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we can see the browns that we know represent that vigorous plume of dust that can cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis in some persons. And it should definitely be affecting portion of the Eastern Caribbean, the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and all of this is pushing westward. So although Jamaica is right here, not getting in on much Saharan dust for 2 p.m. on Thursday, it's definitely on its way. So enjoy the blue skies while it lasts, because maybe by Friday into Saturday, we're getting in on some of the dust. We know how it can be. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see Jamaica right here, and to the south of us we have more darker shades of blues and purples that we know represents anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, while toward north and west we have the least amount of wave heights, 0.5 meter to 1.5 or to 1 meter wave height. Rest of the Caribbean getting a mixture of 1 to 1.5 meter wave height. Majority of the Gulf of Mexico, the lighter shades of blues, up to 0.5 of a meter wave height. And that's because the least amount of winds are going to be across the Gulf of Mexico. So it makes sense. Look at those blues and dull color, the greens, up to 0 knots to 5 knot winds. While the Caribbean getting in on more brighter shades of greens into some yellows as well. That represents anywhere from 10 to 15 to even 20 knots, maybe even gusting to 25 knots right there to the south of Jamaica, to the south of Haiti. And we see the general direction for these winds coming in from the east on both the Euro and the GFS models. And if we take a look at the actual close-up for the wind forecast, we can see where the south coast might be getting on the higher winds. We see more of a mixture of those brighter greens into the yellows that represent 20 to 25 knot winds. And we also see the least amount of winds across portions of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. So maybe section of northern again and western Jamaica might get in on more of the afternoon diurnal convection, but considering that there is a tropical wave, as we saw on the surface map, to the east of the island, we could be getting in on some amount of rainfall coming in from off the sea for sections of St. Thomas and Portland, maybe even spilling into sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. And then there's definitely going to be some amount of afternoon rainfall for sure when all of the air piles up, those cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds or cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds. So definitely a section of northern and western Jamaica. That's where all of the air is going to be piled up, as we can see the curving of the wind here. Definitely some afternoon rainfall for those spots. Some rainfall from the east for St. Thomas, Portland, maybe even spilling into sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. And with the upper level winds coming in more so from the northwest, it could favor some of the thunderstorms in the section of some south central and southwestern parishes, who knows. But definitely sections of St. Thomas and Portland gonna be getting on some rainfall for sure. And if we actually confirm this with the precipitation forecast maps, these maps are why we're here. We want to see exactly when and where it's gonna be raining. And we can see that as of 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time on Thursday, July 18, we see some blues that represent rainfall across the waters to the east as well as onshore section of St. Thomas and Portland. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are in consensus with this forecast. Then by afternoon, there's definitely some amount of rainfall in store. So it's going to be more so for eastern, central, and western Jamaica, but more so northern parishes than anything else, as we can see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are in consensus that we have more darker shades of blues and greens in there for northern Jamaica, definitely sections of St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne. Keep in mind that this is valid for 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. So definitely sections of eastern, central, and western Jamaica gonna be getting on some rainfall, but more so northern parishes. So more so of a flip than what we had yesterday. Yesterday it was forecast for eastern, central, and western, and especially southern Jamaica. Tomorrow is gonna be forecast for more so eastern, central, western, and more so northern parishes in Jamaica. So get ready for that rainfall if you're on the north coast. If you're in the east, get ready. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are in consensus with this accumulated precipitation forecast. Eastern Jamaica highlighted in the yellows, up to 0.28 of an inch of rainfall on the Euro, up to 0.31 of an inch of rainfall on the GFS. And we see that both of them are actually making sense, with more of the rainfall across northern and western Jamaica, up to 0.29 of an inch on the Euro. GFS a bit more robust, up to 0.58 of an inch of rainfall, especially across sections of Hanover and St. James. Either way, we'll take it. We're in the month of July. We usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall in Kingston during this month. We usually receive up to 2 inches of rainfall in Montego Bay during this month. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to do something about the heat that we've been experiencing. By the way, if you'd like to do the calculations from inches to millimeters, here we have a nice graphic. We know 1 inch of rainfall represents up to 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the math, and you can also visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about your specific parish. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we have those clouds to the south of Hispaniola associated with that tropical wave that's going to be affecting portions of Jamaica on Thursday. We can also see numerous cloud showers and thunderstorms affecting sections of northern South America. That's nothing new. And we can see a lot of clouds associated with the intertropical convergence zone, stretching all the way from Africa across the southern main development region. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can see that we don't have much to see here across the Dominican Republic or western and central Puerto Rico, but some isolated shores are definitely plaguing these islands like the British and US Virgin Islands, especially the waters around those areas. St. Kitts and Nevis getting in on the mix, the waters to the south and east of Antigua and Barbuda, section of Guadeloupe and Dominica getting in on some of that. And if we actually put these Doppler radar images into motion from about 1:40, 1:50 p.m. today, we can see that there wasn't even much happening across Puerto Rico. Usually they have some robust thunderstorms in the afternoon. Not much took place today. And if we even take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see more rainfall than anything else passing to the north of there from east to west. Some of this rainfall could definitely make it to Barbados if they aren't dead by the time they get there. But we can also see some isolated showers heading for sections of Dominica, Martinique, maybe even as far south as St. Lucia later on tonight. We can see some of that rainfall right there to the east of Tobago, maybe even making it as close as Trinidad later on. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall right there to the north and to the west of the Bahamas, western Florida getting in on the mix, some isolated shores across the Yucatan Peninsula, and we can also see some amount of rainfall affecting sections of eastern Suriname and French Guyana. If we take a look at the rainfall forecast for the next 24 hours, both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall. Maybe some isolated shower or two, especially where we see the greens up to the yellows and oranges. Most times it's just some isolated showers and it's not an all day thing. And we can definitely see that both of them are in consensus. That section of Florida, Cuba, the Bahamas should be getting on some amount of rainfall. Haiti, the Dominican Republic, section of the Eastern Caribbean, say anywhere from Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, especially section of eastern and southern Venezuela where we see these darker reds and purples that represent up to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe up to 3 inches of rainfall. Guyana getting in on the mix, section of Suriname, French Guyana already getting in on the mix, and we can also see section of western Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica getting a lot of rainfall within the next 24 hours, eastern Nicaragua, section of Honduras, El Salvador, while some isolated shores are in the forecast, a section of Guatemala, section of Belize, and even section of the Yucatan Peninsula and the Cayman Islands might get in on some of that isolated shower activity. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast, and we know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.